myself in a mental state where I was harboring some pretty vengeful sentiments. I've never been one to go looking for retribution. My behavior has typically consisted of just nagging or ranting, saying hurtful things in the heat of the moment, or just completely cutting people off whenever I didn't think that their presence would be conducive to my mental health. But after being subjected to narcissistic abuse for years, I finally found myself in a position where I was actively looking for methods to hurt someone as much as they had hurt me. And this was not me. And I was aware of it, which made me feel very uneasy. Unfortunately, these emotions simply fueled my anger, and now I want to know, why do I have to endure suffering twice? The first from my abuser, and then again from my own thoughts. The person who mistreated me, however, is still going on about their lives unaffected and ready for another chance to take a dig at me in any way they can. As soon as they're satisfied with the harm that they've done to me, they move on to the next victim, which is usually my daughter, but I digress. I had an interesting mental experience as I was making every effort to ground myself again and get back to my center. And that's what I want to talk about today. I took some time to put my overactive imagination to good use. And while I wouldn't necessarily say that I had some sort of out of body experience, I will say that I think I did a pretty good job at imagining this to allow myself to gain a better understanding. So I imagine that one morning when I woke up, I wasn't myself anymore. I had turned myself into him, the narcissist. I now have an entirely new perspective on the world and my surroundings and the people who are around me. I now view the individuals in my life and those whom I have brief interactions with as being simply transactional. Every person that I come into contact with is a resource rather than a living creature. Is there anything I can learn from this individual that can help me, or are they worthless? People aren't really people. They don't have personalities or emotions or their own wants and desires. Instead, they're either helpful to me or they're not. Will the person in front of me boost my ego? Will I be able to get my energy from this person? Will this individual help me feel better about myself? True closeness, love, and attachment are no longer concepts that make sense to me. Now I have to go about acting as if I know what these fundamental humans want. Now, in order to get what I want from these individuals, I have to seem as though I comprehend what it means to have compassion. I am now an award winning actor, and I have to perform constantly, being different characters depending on who the person is standing in front of me. I have to pretend to be someone else in front of everyone I meet so that they'll give me the validation that I need in this moment, which prevents me from ever being my authentic self. I've lost the capacities for spontaneity because I have malicious and unconventional intentions for every single person in my life. I'm unable to connect spiritually with anyone. As a result, nothing that I do is natural or done out of love and care. I've constructed my entire existence around the question of whether or not the individual I'm standing in front of will help me feel confident in myself. My quest for approval is the driving force behind every single thing that I do. I struggle to feel at ease in my own flesh. I constantly want approval from other people, thus, I don't feel at ease being by myself. I have to wear a mask. I have to con everyone that I encounter, and I'm not allowed to just be me. I'm not even sure who me is. I don't have a genuine sense of identity. I have no experience with having a true identity. I have no idea what it's like to live without a filter or the desire for approval all the time. I'll never be able to experience true love. I'll never get it, and I'll never be able to offer it or display it to anyone. Since I'll never be able to experience love deeply or for a long enough period of time in my life, I'll never be able to really understand what love is. And because I'm aware that every time I enter a room with other people, I'm bringing my abuse baggage with me, I will never be able to trust anyone, nor will I be able to be trusted by anyone. Even while things may be going well in this moment, I'm aware that my antics will eventually ruin all of the peace. I'm going to cause harm to those close to me and make life toxic and intolerable for all of them. I'm unable to manage my emotions, and this affects how I perceive the world. My emotions, ideas, and beliefs are shifting quickly on a daily basis, which is bad for how I see the world and how all of the world sees me. Currently, in this very moment, I may be happy with the task, but in a few hours, I'm going to get bored and have absolutely no interest in it at all. I'm also going to do this with people. I'm constantly bored and constantly restless. I never finish anything because I'm always looking for new things that will satisfy my need for immediate validation. And because I have to go on to other things as soon as the initial high wears off, I will never remain consistent or know the satisfaction of what it means to accomplish anything through hard work. Additionally, I don't give a damn about what any of the people who have to work with me or deal with me, family, friends, coworkers, or even just the service providers or the store clerks. No one, I don't care about them, how they feel, or how they're going to walk away from interacting with me. Never will I actually feel seen. And I'm aware of this because I will never consent to actually being seen. I wear a mask. And I wear masks because I'm an actor, I'm a con, I'm a pretender. And depending on the person I am interacting with at the time, I have to alter every aspect of who I am just to fit this one situation. And despite the fact that I am the cause of all of my anguish and pain, I'm also unwilling to stop playing these parts and switching up my mask. I'm going to keep moving down this harmful path, even though I am positive that my actions and habits are going to cause harm. I don't have the ability to resist. I'm unable to perceive the true nature of reality. Only my current feelings can motivate me because I'll never allow myself to look past my personal feelings, even though they change quickly. I will never be able to see the bigger picture. In this moment, I may be in it to win it. In this moment, I may tell you that I love you with all of my being. But as the moment passes, I'm going to throw it all away. I'm going to turn it into trash. I'm going to take this individual standing in front of me, play with them like a toy, and when I'm bored with this toy, I'm simply going to put it on the shelf until I want to play with it again, if I ever want to play with it again. I constantly feel let down because the things that I start don't turn out the way I expect them to, and I'm not ready to make any true effort to try again or properly fix it. Anything and anyone in my life that doesn't instantaneously and constantly validate me, I will not appreciate it. Not even myself, not my job, not my relationships, not even my family. I can only do my best to accept the meager affirmations and validations that I receive and then move on to something or someone else. I'm violent. My acts, feelings, and life are all very aggressive, but I have to act like they're not. Even though I'm aware that I can only keep up this composed facade for a limited period of time, I have to convince others that I am an adult who can sustain healthy relationships. I'm aware that it's only a matter of time before I start to feel restless once more and begin to act recklessly and aggressively. I have to produce drama because I need the attention, and I'm going to get the attention even to my own detriment. To feel like I have some influence over this world, I have to hurt other people because this is what I constantly do. It is my pattern. I'm aware of these things, just not willing to make any effort towards changing it. I usually lose the mask that I'm wearing over time, but for me, this is how life is, a collection of various performances. I'm unable to recognize kindness, love, or beauty because I only allow myself to view the world through these meager transactions. Transactions that solely benefit me and stroke my ego. I don't have a complete perspective on humanity. I have no idea how to alter or change any of this. I am also not going to seek professional help so that I can learn how to change it. I don't want to change it since this is all I've known, and no matter how many people I hurt, I'll never proactively look for support that I need to improve. I'll never make an effort to come to know my authentic true self. I don't have a problem with making others believe that I'll put forth any effort, but in reality, I'm simply satisfied with not doing the work, just as long as I can convince you that I will. I'm not an empath. My definition of empathy is putting on the show for the person in front of me at the time so that they believe I care about them. This is the reality of a narcissistic mind. Imagine having to go through each day of your life in this manner, year after year, not having empathy or sympathy, just wreaking havoc and being toxic every day, all day long, knowing that you're this way, and also knowing that you have no intentions to change, but you're going to double down on it. Now, don't take this the wrong way because I am not encouraging anyone to have sympathy for a narcissist. I don't feel bad for them, and I will never allow myself to be a soft space for a narcissistic person to land. And I would seriously hope that you wouldn't either. I'm only pointing these things out so that those of us who suffer from their abuse will know the truth and understand just how important it is to completely remove yourself from their energy sucking rotation. After I finally realized the type of person that I was dealing with, my desires for revenge started to fade because I realized that his existence was all the retaliation that was needed. He has to wake up every single day, look in the mirror at a person he doesn't know, and still hate that person. He's constantly searching for the mask that he needs to wear so that he can transform into the character that's required at the time because he's no idea who he really is. Because he will never experience, he will never know peace or love. No, he's not experiencing any immediate visual repercussions for his acts and negative deeds. He does not go home every night and cry into his pillow over all the harm he's caused. And no, he's probably unlikely to ever develop some terrible illness that will force him to reconsider his life. But he will never get a chance to experience true love and care. He'll never understand what it's like to experience genuine sympathy or empathy. No one will ever genuinely care about him, which means no one will ever put forth any long lasting effort to stand in his corner or be there for him in times of need. Being able to successfully manipulate other people is one of the only joys of his life, his only accomplishment. He'll never be able to actualize his true self because he willfully chooses to wallow in self pity and victimization and lacks the motivation needed to improve. He'll never be able to fully and honestly have real connections with anyone or experience true intimacy with another human being. And that, in my opinion, is a very significant consequence. It might not be impressive or charming, it may not be grand. He might not even notice it. However, it is unquestionably greater than any vengeance scheme I could have ever thought of. It lasts forever and it will never change, knowing that every time he looks back over his life, there is very little happiness, only a trail of destruction that he's created. And because he won't do better, that trail of destruction is the only thing he has to look forward to in his future. Every relationship he has with another person will always fail, and nothing he touches will ever grow to its full potential because he is a destructive force and full of chaotic energy. He doesn't even take the time to look at all the people who've moved away from him and how successful they've become once he's no longer in their lives. Just knowing all of this is my revenge and his karma. His life, his existence is all the revenge that I need. And I didn't have to spend any of my own energy to make it happen.